Welcoming you back to crypto's juiciest news. Bitcoin and the markets going down to poopy town is very sad. What else can we do? What did Donald Trump say about the major loser, Jerome Powell? Is it true that the US Fed sent out one of their cockroach henchmen, Fed Waller, hinting that they're going to cut rates in July next month? Yes. We'll find out that and more, friends, coming here for you. First, we're going to look at the Bitcoin monthly candle. It's now red. Are we going to finish red for the month? I don't know. We've already had two this year. Just show you the very, very sad state of affairs for this crypto cycle being horrific. Because in the 2013 and 2017 bull market years, there were only 3 red monthly candles for the entire year. So the bull market had 9 green. And then 2021 was a scam cycle, cut off early. But everyone, it's funny, everyone now reminisces about 2021 like it was some amazing thing. But no, it wasn't amazing at all. You go back, you check the coins. Only 20% of coins went back to their all-time high. Only 20%. 80% never touched their all-time high. And then of those 20% who did, many of them just crashed. Actually, all of them crashed right below it anyway. Like Cardano, like Litecoin. So even though they pinged their all-time high or broke it, they just went back down anyway. Very sad state of affairs, man. This is the monthly candle for this month. It is now in June. I don't know what else we're meant to do at this point, friends. Like, it doesn't feel nice. Just seeing here every day, everything gets worse, progressively worse. Isn't life meant to get better at some point? It's been like 4.5 years of this junk. This is the Ethereum triangle still working its way through, down 2,400. Uncle Bobby, thank you to Mr. Uncle Bobby, bullish on Ethereum. Yeah, I mean, like, join the club. With like literally half the world for the past 4.5 years. ETH-BTC ratio still cucking us down here. Nothing to see, nothing to report. Remember, friends, this is a monthly chart. We're not going to get this, dude. It's just those days are completely over. We're never getting those moves ever again. And I'm just going to say never, never, never. Maybe one day we'll get it. Don't hold your breath. That's all I'm saying. It's pretty much we're cucked. We're cucked. I know most people just completely regret ever opening up crypto and just hearing that cursed word because it's just been like so long. This is the Bitcoin price chart. I'm going to show you some more fractals and stuff coming off later, friends. But most of the time, Bitcoin, most of its time, when it does this skit stuff, it really goes for it. Okay, it does the double bottom, but it actually breaks the bottom. Okay, and then we have that reset. We're like, oh, I want to kill myself all over again, right? That type of feeling. Right, which everyone feels it now already. I can only imagine what's going to feel like even lower because everything's just junk, right? Just warning you ahead of time, okay? So like, if we're looking out for some even further clarification of pre-programmed FUD. We know you're pre-programmed. We know something else is lurking out there, so we're just not going to be surprised if it comes out. Here is ChainLink. Pretty much feels like it's been scamming us since forever. It has come back to prices of March 2019. This is just wild, man. It is still down after 5 years. 88% against Ethereum. This is a business cycle, man. Everything in the business cycle is cucked. You know that very, very well. I still believe crypto's going to 10 trillion, though. So this is the whole crypto industry. Crypto to 10 trillion. It's just the days feel like very, very, very long, don't they? Checking it out, though. The weekly chart is what we've been watching carefully here, friends. Weekly chart is extremely important. It's still weak green on the weekly super trend, okay? And we are like coiling down. The Bitcoin dominance, back to new all-time highs, cucking everyone again. This time, obviously, it's because XRP, Soy, the rest of the altcoins now that were barely hanging on, you know, like XRP, Soy, they have now been cucked into oblivion. Here is Ethereum's candle. Looks like it's going to bud all the way down. It's just, but this is, friends, I've seen stuff like this. This is where usually people are short and they're like really needing this thing to go down to get out of their position, but it doesn't fulfill their requests. I can just feel it. But yeah, I don't know how it's all going to resolve itself. Guess we'll just have to wait and see, as we've been patiently waiting this whole time anyway. Checking out OTHERS-btc. Surprise, surprise. Making me regret waking up at all, even being born. Look at this, going down again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, still 7 red monthly candles in a row. Never before done this ever at this point in the cycle, not even remotely close. The last time I did this was after a 150x rally across every single altcoin in crypto. That was the last time I did 7 candles. With this one, You didn't go up at all. You didn't do 150x. You went up like 6% and then you just went down anyway. Yeah, man, I don't know what else to tell everyone, friends. I mean, I just don't even know what to tell myself. Just, yeah, it's just a sad state of affairs. This is the global liquidity cope out here. Everyone's praying that this line goes up, but whatever. I mean, like, we're just, yeah. You've seen all of these things by now. All we can do is maybe crank some tunes. That's all we got. Some tunes. Check out now. Soy ETH ratio still cranking around here. Soy ETH waiting for their soy ETF. There's been, yeah, pretty much, it's been the same junk, friends. All of Twitter Roonies, everything is just hyper focused on Israel and Iran. Everybody's got an opinion. No one's opinion matters. A lot of it was preordained. There's obviously news hit pieces and stuff going out here. Nothing's changing this, right? This is the business ISM cycle. So after seeing all these, again, it's tough, man. It's tough just literally breathing right now. Now, after remember I told you, friends, I want to go through a bit through this, but remember the US Fed, they sent out their Cockroach Waller. Now, Cockroach Waller, what they do is if they're in a bit of doubt, they'll send out commentary to the market. They'll book and they get regularly scheduled interviews, and then they'll talk about what they want to talk about. And they'll say, oh yeah, you know, we might need to cut rates or something in July. Like they start saying stuff like that, yeah. Now, the interest rates have not reacted enormously, but they've reacted a little bit. So now it used to be around 1 to 2 cuts expected, which is around here. Now it's getting closer towards an actual 2 cuts priced in. That's this line here. So I know it's moving slightly, but what would accelerate it? More downside of the, say, you know, S&P 500 price, maybe if it skits down. Those types of reactions, that's what really accelerates it. But we can't do much for now. We still have the Ethereum price. Friends, the CME gap is 3,200. It is now here. It's just kind of crazy. Like it's done its skits move, or unless it really wants to do like this skits and then go up. I don't know. Something interesting I'd like to tell you. So, friends, blockchain backer believes we're going to do that A, B, C, D, right? Where we're going to do the C leg, okay, with Bitcoin. So I'll just show you again. So blockchain, because I'll show you some charts as we go through later on, but he believes, okay, we're going to do this C leg and we're going up because Bitcoin always does this C leg. Just prepare for it. Okay. Camel Finance, I was watching his latest video. I think he's selling a trading indicator now and selling trading stuff. He trades off cycles. So Camel Finance, it's funny. He says, he goes, there's a popular YouTube out there who believes we're going to do a C leg. He goes, I'm not going to name the name, but yeah, I was watching. I was like, oh, I just watched BCB. So I know that he was talking about blockchain backer. He doesn't think we have this incoming. Also, something interesting, I guess, for cycles. He said, because we're 15 days into a cycle, if Bitcoin doesn't start moving up, you've got a sideways poopy time for the next 45 days. Pain. That's what he said. Goes, so yeah, if there's literally 60 days here, literally there's 60 days in this block. He goes, you literally have never, ever, nothing ever just goes sideways like this for like the first 20 days and then goes up. He goes, once you've started the cycle, it does it. But I don't know. We'll see. All these cute theories and indicators, and everyone's got their own way of viewing things in their own lens. I guess we just got to wait and see. Now, Pulse Chain has been getting wrecked into oblivion. Pulse Chain price is destroyed again. Sacrifice price is down 76% after 4 years. PulseX down 80% after 4 years. Hex down 99%. PDI is still wrecked. Pretty much everything's still wrecked into oblivion. Yeah, it's very sad that I have to say those numbers, but that's it, friends. It's yeah, when you invest, you have risk, you have liquidity risk. So like, even though your fundamentals are okay, yeah, but if the marketplace is not in the mood to reprice you to where you think is fair, that period of time, you know, it's the John Maynard Keynes saying, well, it can stay irrational a lot longer than you can stay solvent. So now we've witnessed this firsthand where just everything's just freaking pathetic. It's just kind of sad because we are now in June of 2025. Friends, we're almost in July of 2025 and everything is still going down and bad, which is this is just, so I'm telling you now, man, someone out there is a child pedophile. Some of you have been hanging around those school buses, okay? You shouldn't be on those school buses. I know one of you cursed all of us, someone out there, for all the crypto altcoin land, okay? So there's nothing else really we can do about that. Remember, it all comes down to the business cycle. You at least understand the liquidity risk, right? Because it's not, okay, look, firstly, I don't know shit. Secondly, how I interpret it is when a long period of time passes, see, coins just naturally go down because there's always people selling. So crypto doesn't have any doesn't have like these forced Ponzi bids like the S&P 500, okay? It doesn't have those like last resort meme buyers where people are like, oh, cash flow, I'm going to get the next 20 years of cash flow in Johnson & Johnson. It doesn't have those buyers. So the buying and selling can be erratic, yeah? So when we don't have the business cycle going up for a period of time, this period of time sideways, you know, like gold goes sideways, stocks go sideways pretty much, but crypto literally just goes straight down, you know? But on the plus side, which we never got, on the plus side, when the things go up, you know, S&P 500 goes up 6%. Gold goes up, 2%. Do you know what I mean? But the crypto can go up 50%. Yeah, and then 2x, 3x, 4x when you get to the final end of the cycle. But that's a risk we take. That's a risk you take, okay? So there is no free lunch. That's why with crypto, it's still the best bet to take because all you can lose is all your money. Pretty much. You can't lose more than 1x. Okay. But then your upside is just like however good the cycle goes. Everything just keeps compounding. That's why it's still asymmetric upside. It doesn't mean if you take asymmetric upside, you win or you have to win in a year even. But yeah, that's pretty much what we've been dealing with. Now let's crack on with some news, friends. So Circle stock CRCL has pumped and they have now confirmed the StableCoins super cycle once again. Just quickly, I want to show you the PUI chart. Remember, friends, PUI, before I even show you Circle, PUI's in this big triangle out here, and it's just dumping down. Remember, PUI, friends, Raoul Powell, remember, PUI's just another centralized fast server. It's a layer one chain. It's the new Cycle 1 coin. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Some people said, oh, why don't I go in on PUI? Like, people say that, go, bro, do you understand how many new layer 1 cycle 1 chains there are this cycle? There was like 20 or 30, man. And by the way, layer 2s are also new chains. So basically what you're doing is out of the list of 30, you've cherry picked one and you're like, oh, I should have went in on that. Yeah, but man, SEI and Craptos and all these other ones, they never went anywhere. Right, look at Pulse chain as well, Rect as well. All these other new layer 1 chains didn't go anywhere, man. And Solana, by the way, isn't even new. And it had the cycle season. So a lot of these things are erratic and they're chaotic and it is random and there is a lot of luck involved and there's the right connections and stuff out here. It doesn't mean you have a defeatist attitude, but like it just means like if you're on a short-term time frame, there's a lot more of that. The longer your time frame, everything hopefully gets better. So what we'll do now in a very family-friendly way, you type in CRCL, we'll go up here. This is the Circle stock. Let's put on a nice 30-minute chart. Wow, it's literally gone up only. Open up here. It's kind of funny, friends. Now it's worth about, I think, like 55 billion market cap for Circle. Why? Because it is literally stablecoin super cycle. My thesis has been confirming stablecoin super cycle. There is product market fit. People are understanding stablecoins. They want to invest in the future of stablecoins. That's what it is. And also, it's kind of funny joke. It's 55 billion up here. So I'll just write it up here. This is funny, right? So 55 billion. So if you do an 86% drop, where would 86% down take us? It would take us right here, 34 bucks. So why is this number important? This number, $34, that is how much Ripple tried to bid for Circle. They tried to buy the entire thing. They said, oh, I'll give you 8 billion for your shitty company. And it's funny, they're going to pay him in XRP tokens because they got no money. They've only got 1.1 billion from dumping on the XRP community. That's what they have. And then the rest is just XRP tokens. Hey, we'll give you some shitty XRP. It's kind of funny. And then it just said, nope, give you the middle finger up only. So it's kind of wild to see that these things are playing out, friends. So yeah, stablecoin super cycle is confirming the thesis. More stablecoins are going to come in because you got to think about, so what does that actually mean? Just to give you a quick rundown, right? So stablecoins coming in will bring alt season stuff because you're getting literally everyone in who doesn't even take risk, but eventually they will take risk because the money's right there. Okay. If they have all their US dollars, stored on like a crypto wallet. They're just 3 buttons away from degenning in. They won't do it straight away. They need a season, a spark. So that's the money that's going to come pull in, right? Number one. Number two, P-Dive and just anything that offers yield will be very attractive to everyone who comes in here, because a lot of these new people, they don't know the difference between, for example, Luna UST and just another, an EDI and then USDC and USDT. They don't know the difference between Tether, Circle, Ethereum DAI, or even Luna UST if they're all $1. If they're all $1 and something earns them yield, yeah, they don't know. Now, they say they know, and technically people say, oh, things are Ponzi's and stuff out here, but that's what happens every single cycle. What happens every business cycle is someone finds a new way to do financial alchemy and obfuscate what's going on, and they make it complex enough so that no one really understands it unless you dig in. And they're like, oh, you just don't get it, man. It's the future. Use the future. But once they start getting everyone psyched up like that, go, you didn't get it. You didn't get it. You didn't get it. It ends up being a Ponzi. I mean, like, ask Ivan, ask me. They're always a Ponzi, always a... Whenever it takes them literally more than, like, I'm not joking, 6 words to explain where the yield anything comes from, it's a Ponzi every single time. All right, but there's always new ways to complicate stuff, because obviously we're waiting for that business cycle to go up, but no one is willing to suspend belief right now. That's it, because everything's garbage, But if your businesses were doing well, the economy is doing better, we have economic boom, AI and everything's right, everything's cranking, okay? You don't mind suspending your belief. If you're a business and you're earning, like $20,000 a month, you're paying yourself your income, whatever. And then like 1 month you have like a $48,000 month. Yeah, a lot of those people out here, and then maybe in jobs, promotion and stuff out here, like, they don't mind, they have an extra like 15 grand laying around, 20 grand. Yeah, they're not really going to spend like, 14 days researching whether something's a Ponzi or not, because they're doing well, right? Maybe their savings, they have like, 100 grand in savings there. They've got like an extra spare 15,000 to throw in. Okay, now they're just willing to throw things in. Well, we have to build into that, right? It doesn't just come out of nowhere. That's obviously what we've been waiting for. That's why, friends, that environment is not here. It's why if you're judging any of your coins and portfolio and looking at everything right now, because it's just tiny liquidity, I think you're making the wrong move. But I don't know how long it's going to take. We're praying and hoping like, oh, man, it should be it. Look, it's running out of time. Look, it happened at the end of last year, man. Everything got psyched out. So, yes, it's just going to be more time, I guess. South Korea. Actually, let's go through this, friends. So, breaking news. It was breaking news. So, Cockroach Waller said interest rates could begin as early as July in terms of cutting. So we've just lived through the GT June. Now, hopefully, we're going to go through a joyful July, but we're just ready to give up this, but we don't give a shit anymore, bro. Just cut the rates. I don't know, just do something. Just do something, start getting people to come in, but like, I already know, man, like, cutting rates, it's not going to make people forget the trauma of 2020 and 2022. If they cut rates 1 or 2, it's not going to make them. Okay, something else has to come. A divine spark. Could be like ChatGPT releases a new groundbreaking upgrade to their AI, like their biggest update ever. You know what I mean? Like, and just, you know what I mean? Like something like that, friends. Or someone finds a way, like, to really kickstart things. Like maybe ChatGPT releases an update that's so good where like tradies and laborers, construction or legal dudes all around America are like using it, and they're like literally saving hours of time. It could be that. I've got a friend he's a handyman. For example, imagine like AI, friends. AI is about 110 IQ now, 100 to 120. It's around that zone. So it's good. It's okay, but it's not. Like AI does a lot of wrong things. It tells you, I have fixed the code. I have done everything correct. Tick, tick, tick. And you're like, wow, thank you. And then you go check the code, what they're doing. And you're like, wait a minute. This thing's bugged. TradingView says it's bug, or this thing's wrong, or this thing was incorrect. So it's still like that. It's like, it's so confident in itself. Like a typical probably 100 IQ person. It's kind of funny. 120 IQ person. It's really confident in itself. It's just totally wrong. See, I can't relate to that because my IQ is about -70. But for your 100 IQ dwellers, that's what it's like. But it's improving, okay? So within by June to December next year, the IQ is not going to be 1 to 120 anymore. The IQ will be 200. And then we'll literally we've never seen a human like that before. Okay, we have a few people recorded history between 160 to 200 IQ, but it's in one field. This will be AI will be like have that IQ across every field. All right. So that's why, friends, like I told you, I've got a friend who's got a handyman. He does his own invoicing stuff. You know, so everyone out there, a lot of people, when they do their invoicing, because like it's too inefficient to basically hire someone out here and do things. But just imagine, man. Here's the thing. So right now, you actually got to talk to AI, but you got to ask it like, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you not do that? Go back and fix this. And you got to save a lot of things. It's very analog, okay? But we'll eventually get to the point where he's like, hey, here's my files. This is what I've been doing. Fix it. And then AI was just going to be like, okay, I've made a whole new prompt, right? When it comes to this, I've found the way to fix it. And it like probably makes you like, maybe you got an Excel sheet of like 5 tabs. It like adds a tab at the front and it grabs all the information sources from everything else. And it's just like, you know, put the name, this, and it fills literally everything else out. You know, so like you just get to that. And like once we just see something like that and everyone's like, oh my gosh, I upload the file into the AI and I said, just make my life easier. That's it. And it does. Okay. See what I mean? That now I'm just inspiring the technological boom for AI to pretty much crank it. You know what I mean? And that's going to make people really be optimistic about the future. And that will be business cycle going up. And then they start buying digital crypto Ponzi's. So it's a path. We're just waiting, right? South Korea's central bank says it won't oppose a one-pegged stablecoin. Not a loss-pegged, a one-pegged stablecoin. But warns it could complicate forex management and boost demand for dollar-backed tokens. Yeah, so warning. Oh no, it could boost demand for US dollars. That's exactly why the US government is going to do them, right? So also remember, friends, when Fred's Waller in the comments out here, we're waiting for the interest rates and things, I guess, to move. Something to move, man. It looks like everything's just going to shit itself. But, you know, what else can we do? We're pretty much hoping and coping, okay? So, stablecoin super cycle confirming. Every central bank's going to be talking about them. It's kind of funny. Do you know, I still remember, like, you know, all the central banks, they were shitting on stablecoins, I think, back in, like, 2017, 2018, 2019. It's hilarious. They said, you don't need to use any of that stuff. We have our own currency. They try to make their own international shit. No one wants to use your garbage stuff, bro. It's trash. The banks are trash. They just, yeah, that's it, man. It takes the bleeding edge, the frontier of society to change stuff. Okay, that's where it is. That's where the UFO dudes live. That's where crypto lives. It's this bleeding edge. That's where the actual innovation happens. Yeah, but innovation also means you throw 99 things at the wall, none of them work, but then one works, and it's actually amazing. Big update here for you. High-value investors now dominate 89% of Bitcoin transactions, with average transfer size $36,200 as new retail demand dries up. So yeah, man, Bitcoin no longer for retailers. No one wants to touch it. Institutions are there. It's kind of funny, man. Like, just people still psych themselves out. Dude, do you want to be playing a game against a professional who's been playing 16 hours a day, represented their own country at WCG, plays internationally and gets paid to play? Do you want to be playing a video game against that person, or do you want to be playing a video game against literally your grandma, never held a controller in her hand, doesn't even know, like she says, she calls the Xbox, she calls it the PlayStation, and vice versa, right? Who would you rather play a video game against? Let's say you're playing like FIFA. Okay, of course, you want to play against a grandma. Okay, guess what the grandma's buying? Altcoins. Okay, the grandma's putting in $800, $400, $1,000, okay, into altcoins, $3,000 max. Okay, the average transaction in Bitcoin is $36,000, right? But obviously, people are going to still psych themselves out. They believe Bitcoin dominance has gone 90%. We'll see. Okay, so just showing you where do you want to play, friends? Blue ocean area. Okay, that's what my whole life, friends, markets and stuff. Okay, you do not go to where everyone else is there. When all the vultures are there, friends, why are vultures there? It's because the vultures got a lot of money and they're happy to take 1 basis point out of stuff. You know, they're not playing with $1,000. You know, they're playing with 100 million. They're happy to make a 1% return on the month on their 100 million. Yeah, it's about 12 to 15% per year. They're happy to do that. You know, they're really happy to do that. So you don't have 100 million though. Okay, so you've got about $10,000. You're making 1%. You're gonna make $100. Okay, so, but you have to go to a game where they're not there. We are in that game now. Unfortunately, the game will promise lollipops, and then, you know, it's not a lollipop. Let's just say that. You had a few licks. It's not a lollipop, okay? And you're blindfolded. It's something else. But it's a family-friendly show. Mexico's third richest man, Ricardo Salinas Pliego, has increased his Bitcoin allocation to 70%. Also, Bitcoin pumped hard. You know what I mean? So, man, that's big. That's big. Mexican billionaire. Now, friends, I want to show you, right, before we even crack on to other news stuff, I want to show you some of the fractals that are from, you know, BCB and stuff here. This is XRP's chart. So, we have been, remember, all the charts, friends, in crypto, like when I'm trading and scalping and stuff, and like the sad part of crypto is no crypto, like 99% of crypto, they don't have their own personality. It's all Wintermute and the same market makers. Everything is correlated. Everything goes up, everything goes down. It's just, yeah, it is what it is. So, but on the good side is when you see patterns appear, they appear for pretty much everything. Okay, so, oh, by the way, if you're curious as well, why did I say, oh, why does it suck that these things don't have like mad personalities or anything? It's just because in stocks, like biotech stocks move differently to, like, you know, Johnson & Johnson and high market caps and stuff out here. So you have like different edges and there's more like stuff to do. But in crypto, it's just like all up, all down, all pump, all scam. It's just, yeah, it just gets, you know what I mean? That's why it's tough. It's rough. So now I'll crack on with some charts here. This is the XRP as I was showing before. We are, man, we've been a long way. Look where we're up to. We're up to this part. Okay, we're up to this part. So just one scenario is where there's like a, you know, this is a fake up. Everyone thinks it's like we're in the better times. And then there is this one last thing they go, oh crap, we're actually never going up. And then pretty much that's ready to go. So if you just prepare yourself, and that's what markets do. So it's not about predicting the future, okay? It's not about that. I'm here to prepare you mentally just to show you what the market does, okay? Now, I'm going to show you as well, okay, before we go into the Bitcoin charts, this is one potential way Bitcoin could resolve its range. This is rare though. So this is the S&P 500. It's C leg. So this is the C leg right here. You see, this is what we call the C leg. Okay, because you go the A, B, C, bang. Okay, the C leg or whatever. Now, this C leg, notice how it's still making higher highs. Okay, it's still like it holds the range. Okay, that's pretty much it. Now, we're gonna go look at the Bitcoin past examples of how Bitcoin resolves its ranges, which I'm going to show you now. This is Bitcoin. Now, right here, see, we actually got the drawn out A, B, C, D, C. So Bitcoin, A, B, C, bang. You see that? C, A, B, C. The C is always deeper, okay? A, B, C here. So in each of these examples, this C leg is always pretty much the widowmaker. You know, it's kind of like, man, oh man, yeah, that's what it makes you feel like. So we are right here, right? When he took this screenshot, it was 106,000. So Bitcoin right now has tapped 102. We're actually like 102 right here. You just don't know, right? Are we going to get sideways and skits one out before we go? We don't know, okay? But just showing you how erratic and chaotic it can be around here. And we're dealing with a couple of $1,000s and stuff out here. But like, remember, it's not about predicting the future. It's about this mental state of mind, just so you're aware of the game, like how these things work out, right? So you go, oh, there's a crowd, right? The emotions are pinging up and down. There's people, we're all getting frustrated. We just want something to happen. Like everyone's pretty much, you know, regretting, like literally waking up. That the type of mood and that feeling. Yeah, it doesn't end with like, oh, now we just go up. Yeah, you just usually there's a no. I'm gonna force you out. Click sell. You know, I'm just gonna make you actually give up, and then it just does the V out of there. That's what they do. We actually have information here as well. Bitcoin sentiment is at record low. Actually, not record low. It's at the lowest point in months. So Bitcoin positive to negative sentiment ratio. So we have this out here, the lowest in months. Right, so yeah, the last time I guess we were here was this April. Wow, this is towards the Trump tariffs, is it? This Bitcoin sentiment. We're down here. Yeah, it's just everything's rubbish. Is it crazy? Not crazy, but I guess comforting. Everything says the same thing. It's all baked into the price. Price down, stats are down, business cycles down, everything's down. Literally, it's all down together. It's all down together. You don't get like this magical indicator, which is like through the roof and says, now we 100% have to go up. You don't get that. You just get trends and oscillators and stuff out here. So that's why it really just comes down to a matter of belief. Like, do you think this time is different and that we're going to enter a 15-year depression? If you do, okay, well, nothing's going to convince you, you know. But if you don't think it's going to happen, okay, well, then you just eventually this thing's going to sort itself out. That's what it comes down to. Now, this is Donald Pump, the president of the US of A, not to be confused with the US of B. And on the right here, you have too late, major loser, Jerome Powell. So Donald Trump called Powell. He said he's a moron. And then he urged him to cut rates by 1 to 2%. And then he hinted he might even fire him when his term ends. Interesting. So Jay Powell's term ends May 2026. Just so you're aware. It's also interesting, friends, that this could happen where we get told who the Fed replacement is going to be in like December or something. Maybe like Q1 next year. You get told 3 to 4 months, and then everyone just listens to that guy. And he says, you know, rates are too high. We're probably going to be like, you know, more dovish and stuff. He might talk like that. And that might front run everyone to give us the top. All right. And then when he finally gets in, it's priced in, but everyone's going to be holding because they're like, oh, we got the new Fed chairman now. He's going to keep cutting rates and stimulate money, right? And then, you know, it'll be typical contrarian market stuff. We're like, no. Everyone who's expecting that bought before. They're all in now, right? So, but that's another interesting scenario. So, you know, friends, there's a common pattern here. You're always looking at these things from far, just so when they appear, you're ready. You know, that's all it takes. It takes 2 seconds just to speculate in your mind. You know, but the more you speculate, the more you guess. But also, you got to be careful so you don't psych yourself out. So President Trump also threatened to fire the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, calling him a dumb guy and a Trump hater. I don't know why the Fed board doesn't override this total and complete moron. Maybe I'll have to change my mind about firing him. That's my president. The Tether CEO, so Tether is USD trash, T for trash. Paolo Adorino said, he goes on stage, he goes, I love Bitcoin and Bitcoin is completely different than the rest of crypto. So I have an interview out here, just forgot to upload it. But yeah, he comes out and says, oh yeah, because don't worry about this crypto stuff, I just like Bitcoin. But, man, friends, Tether's the Trojan horse. Tether's the Trojan horse. Yeah, they got the treasuries. Also, the biggest bullshit I've heard in my life, he values Tether at 2 trillion market cap, which is literally more than Bitcoin, by the way. Dude, Tether has the most easily copy-pastable business in literally the world. You collect US dollars, you go buy US treasuries, and you give nothing to your customers. There you go. You give them a $1 stable coin, which is that. There you go. It's literally nothing. Okay. That's literally like you sell real estate land and you sell it to someone, but then you say, oh yeah, by the way, anything you grow on this land, it's mine. I keep. Yeah, I keep all the hay, the corn. What are you growing? Tomatoes, potatoes, right? I keep all of the yield off the land. Okay, so imagine there was a business out there that had been making money from that, and it's a new industry. You're like, dude, you're finished. What's gonna happen when other people just start offering yield to the customers? You're literally finished, and then it's just a race to the bottom. Because you know, friends, the more yield Tether offers, the less money they make. Yeah, because they're just rotating the government treasury in. But you know, because you're wondering why do they have this rose tinted glass perspective? Everyone on them, it's because they own Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and Max Kaiser's in their ICO. They let a lot of Bitcoin exchange OGs into their ICO, so they're all in cahoots with them. Okay, but it hasn't been an issue yet. It will be an issue one day in the future, just not now. Any hope for the future? I'll leave you with some hope. Bloomberg has raised their approval odds for a spot XRP, Doge, and Cardano ETF this year. So XRP, Dogecoin, Cardano, 90% odds. 90%. But yeah, I mean, like, what's ETF going to do? You know what I mean? It's just a reflection of the business cycle anyway. This is Bitcoin with the ABCD, just in case we go down there and then everything skits out. This is XRP chart. this is more potential of accumulation sideways of it out here. So yeah, man, just showing you some charts. That's all we're looking for. Yeah, I'm not looking at anything. Even with Pulse Chain friends, Go Pulse. Is Go Pulse coming back? Just there's nothing good to look at. Why look at it all? Like, subscribe, belly button, all. Catch you soon.